worship Chaitanya without Nitai. That is why we would have had previously, not too long ago, I said we had Advaita Charya's appearance, because Advaita Charya foreshadows the coming of the Lord. So, very quickly to go on here, I realize the time is going and so much katha to give. So there are four major reasons, as I said. So that is the major precursor. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming to save the Jivatmas in this material world. So Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, by deliberating, why are we talking about this also? By deliberating on the mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, your heart would be filled with chamatkar, with wonder. Your heart, not the physical heart, the spiritual subtle realm. Your heart would be filled with this chamatkar, this wonder at who is this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lochan Das Thakur notes one reason. The first reason for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming, of course we know he came to save the Jivatmas, but reason number one, Jaya Jaya Dvaita Charya Jaya Doya Moy Jara Hunkare Gaura Avatara Hoy. All glories to Lord Advaita, who called the most merciful master Lord Chaitanya via a pealing roar, because he cried out to the Lord. Chaitanya Bhagavat notes that Advaita Charya, and a quick note on this Advaita Charya. There are persons who say, but wait, you Hare Krishnas, you all do not honor Shivji. But yes, we honor Shivji because we honor him in his highest aspect as Sadashiv. That Sadashiv is Advaita Charya. That he is also Mahavishnu. He is in the Vaikuntha Dham. But he does not, when he comes, the glance of Mahavishnu comes in contact with the Prakriti, Mool Prakriti, mundane world, that is transformed like the transformation of milk into yogurt via the acidic agent. Similarly, the acidic agent in this circumstance is the material nature. So being coming in contact with the material nature, that Sadashiv becomes Shivji, Mahadev Shankar. And that Shankar, as he embraces the post of Tamogun, which is filled in Tamogun, he becomes Rudra. So Rudra comes from Mahadev, Shivji, who is a Vaishnava, who comes from Sadashiv, who is Advaita Charya. So we as Vaishnavas, when we say Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, we are covering even Sadashiv. But in the proper perspective, not that he is Bhagwan, not that he is the absolute, no, we honor, but we honor him in proper tattva. You call that? Gaur Govind Maharaj says it is called tattva vichar. We must know the principle of this Jaiva Dharma, this Vaishnavism. So Lochan Das Thakur says that this Advaita Charya Sadashiv, as noted in the Chaitanya Bhagavat also, that at that time in this Gauda Desh, Bengal, people were only concerned with tantric pujas. Right? I hope I don't offend anyone here. Concerned with tantric pujas, and they were worshipping Devi not in a proper way. They were doing so many other unmanly stuff, and were breaking the nominal norms, the principal norms of achar, means the proper behavior of the Arya, the followers of Vedic Sanatana Dharma. So Advaita Charya, Shivji, as we know, he is so merciful, just as when he took the halal poison, when they were churning the Shiv Sagar, that time period, he would have drank that poison. So similarly, at that moment, Sadashiva, who is full of compassion, manifesting the pure quality of a Vaishnava, O he Vaishnava Thakur, Doyara Sagar, the first quality of Vaishnava Thakur of a Mahabhagavat is he is compassionate. So, seeing the Jivatma suffering, Advaita Charya, he wants to bring this prem to the world. And at that moment, it is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 3, verse 14, Lord Krishna taught, for a long time I have not bestowed prem bhakti. So actually, what I was reiterating before with Vaishaka Mata and Lalita Tunka Vidya Devi and others, that katha, as I said, it is eternal time. It does not have any beginning, middle or end. But it is said that at that same time, when that katha is going on in Guru Vrindavan, at the same time, Advaita Charya, there's what we call synchronicity occurring. Advaita Charya is thinking the same way. And at that same time, Shri Krishna is thinking, I have not for a long time, I have not actually 28, it takes 28 Kali Yugas for that Krishna to come. And that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially. So, for a long time, I have not bestowed Prem Bhakti for the inhabitants of this universe. Without such Bhakti, the world would cease to exist. So it says here, without a pure Bhakt upon the earth, immediately destruction would ensue. So, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 3:21 says, at that time, Lord Shri Krishna is also testing, my partial expansions can establish Yug Dharma, but no one other than me can give Braja Prem. Because at the same time, the back and forth between Vaishaka and Shri Krishna and Srimati Radharani also, they sing Lord Mahavishnu, the other avatar, Rama Adi Murtishu Kalini Amina Tishtan, the other avatars, Ram, Parashuram, all these other personalities, can they not give this divine name? Yes, they come at certain times and give the name, but they cannot give Shri Ram, cannot give the highest love of the gopis, of Braj. That is why only Gauranga can give that. So, at that time, Advaita Charya is thinking, he's searching through the Shastras, and he's saying, what can I do to bring my beloved Lord to this earth? He says here, Tulsi dhalamatrena jalasya chulu kena va vikranti swam atmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. Shri Krishna, who is affectionate to the devotee, just by a handful, a palmful of water and tulsi dhal, dhala means a leaf. So just by taking a Tulsi Devi and placing her within your palm of your hand with some gel, some water, and offering that with, what is the defining factor here though? The defining factor is Bhakte Bhya Bhakta Vatsala. You must have that bhakti within your heart, that prem bhakti, and Krishna will reciprocate at that same time, but by offering this bit of Tulsi. And this is what it is noted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 3:104 that Advaita Charya did thus, cried out to the Lord, and immediately the Lord would have also come into a, not dream, because when Sachimata dreams, so to speak, remember she is also a personality from the spiritual realm, so she is also made of rag. She is not made of prakriti, satugun, rajagun, tamagun. She is not under the influence of material nature. So that same time that Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on Gaur Purnima, he would enter within what we may say the womb of Sachimata. So the second, the second reasoning. So actually, as I said, so the first reasoning would have been to keep the promise of Advaita Charya. Then the second reasoning would have been to come to spread this name, Nam or Prem Bhakti. The third reasoning would have been to bring such sweetness to the earth. But it also says here, Vidhi marga rag, Vidhi marga rag jane, Shudadinath Ratna Dine Ragamarga Karna Pravesha. So it says here that actually, as we said before, all the avatars, they could give some form of bhakti. Some form of bhakti, but not the highest rag marg. There is the part of Ragatmika and Rupanubhav. But we follow right now Shruti Smriti Purana Adi. We follow the part of the Shrutis and Smritis, which is Vidhimarg, which is regulated principles. Like we have the 4 rules and regulations, and then apart from that, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu note there are 64 limbs, 64 methods that one should follow in order, like doing dhanvat, offering respects upon coming to the temple, or circumambulating the temple, or fasting on Ekadasi, fasting on the appearance of the Lord, and so many other things. We follow the regulated part. But as the time of the devotee, as the devotion matures, and the devotee goes from a Kanishta Adhikari, the beginning level, to the Madhyam Adhikari, the middle level, to the Uttam Adhikari level, then the devotee so there are 2 types of jivas in this world. There's what you call the Nitya the Vada jivas, who are bound, shackled with your karma. So because you desire the Ishvaraham Aham Bhogi, I want to enjoy, so I'm thrown into the material world from the spiritual world. And then there's the Nitya Siddhas, like Srila Prabhupada. Personalities such as Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Goswamis, they are not bound to be under the influence of karma. They could leave this world when they desire. Just like Bhishmadev, he did not have to leave immediately. He waited until the appropriate time and left the material world. So these personalities, they are Nitya Siddha. They are eternally liberated. But liberation not in the sense of some Mayavad philosophy, but liberated in the sense of pure devotion. So they are eternally liberated souls, Nitya Siddha, and then there's the Bada Jivas, the bound souls. Now a Bada Jiva, he or she, well, the Jiva, all varieties, the Bada Jiva, the soul which is bound in the material world, has to undergo a process via Sambandha Dhyan. Then you go the Abhideya and Prayojan. He has to, as I said, you have to know the object of your love. And so you know the object of your love, and then you know the path to obtain that love, and then the goal is the end result. But to understand these 3 principles of Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana, one should take shelter under the feet of acharyas such as Srila Prabhupada via reading of his books such as Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, a very nice book on the glories of Lord Chaitanya, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And by reading such during this time period, you will understand the process from the regulated principles to the higher realms. But as I said, one of the major things that Lord Krishna came to give in the form of Gauranga is that love of the Braj Gopis. That love of the Braj Gopis. Vidhi Marga Raj Jani. Actually it's Radha Jani. So Krishna eventually bestows the jewel of independence onto that person who is attached to the path of rules and regulations. So first, you cannot jump the principle. Alright, that is why Srila Prabhupada does not recommend you read the 10th canto at once. Of course, there's a Krishna book where you would have put so many nice explanations. But you start off from the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam going up, so that you understand, as I said, Tattva Vichar. Evam Yoveti Tattvataha. You have to understand this Krishna consciousness in truth. Understand the position of Krishna as Swayam Bhagavan. Understand the position of the avatars as coming from Krishna, who is the original avatari. Understand the position of all the great personalities who are associated with Sri Krishna. Understand the position of the devatas as devotees of that Sri Krishna. And after understanding such, And then reading Shravan Shwa Katha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana, by hearing Srimad Bhagavad Katha on a daily basis, not maybe once a week, but on a daily basis. Actually, Srila Prabhupada says you should one reading should occur minimum 2 hours every day. 2 hours. So, if you all want, there's a nice book on instructions and lectures by Srila Prabhupada called Prabhupada Shikshamrit. 2 volumes, and they speak about that. Actually, I think it's 64 pages of that book. Srila Prabhupada reiterates reading. So, via this regulated principle, Vidhi Marg, of reading Srila Prabhupada's books, doing Mangal Arati, most importantly though, and I would reiterate this, and I was speaking to another devotee on the Srila Prabhupada Society that he was from Indonesia, but then, and he was speaking about food stuff. And also I'd like to note this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had noted that one should not, and I don't have the quote here, but I could always put it up in the chat. One should not eat grains from karmi. Karmi meaning a person, actually in karmiya melody, meaning that a person who is not following, who is not following this path of Vaidhi Marga, who is not following some rules and regulations of basic Arya Dharma, of Sanatana Dharma. Because by eating such, you would be contaminated. When it was asked, and I remember Kalachanji would have told me this many years ago, and again also, that when it was asked to Bhishma Dev, oh Bhishma Dev, why it is that you, no matter you are a Mahajan, and we always say Mahajano Yena Gatasa Panta, we follow the path of personalities such as you. Why it is Yudhishthira Maharaj is inquiring, why did you fight on the side of Duryodhana? Why? And Bhishma Dev would have said, because I would have eaten the salt and the food stuff from this personality Duryodhana. Having eaten the food stuff, my very blood, my substance was, well, Mahabharata can be contaminated, but he's giving that instruction. I was contaminated. But as I said, he cannot be, just as Arjuna cannot fall under illusion. There's apparently, there's some pretense, so to speak, that this happens. So he said, due to that factor, but now I have asked, not only being a Kshatriya, I have asked that I be placed upon his bed of arrows, but also I want that all my blood be drained from my body. I want that all my blood, which would have come from eating that anna, that food stuff, from a personality such as Duryodhana, I want that drained out of my body. So now I'm thinking correctly. Now I'm thinking correctly. So you see the power of this food grain. The power of the food grain could change. Even a devotee of the Madhyam Adhikari platform could, leave such repose at the feet of their lordships. So the time is ticking very quickly. And I said, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would have come, as I said, so there's the Nitya Siddha Jivas, such as the Acharyas, who come from the spiritual world, Guru Vrindavan, and then there's the Bada Jivas, we, who would glance to the material nature, and we said, you know what, I am seeing Radha and Krishna and all these personalities enjoying, I want to be like Krishna, I want to enjoy, and then Krishna, being the loving father, you want to enjoy, but go down to the material world, and just as the little child, seeing the parent playing, the little girl child, she might see the mother cooking or something, and then the parent will give her some little toy or something, and she will pretend she's cooking. Similarly, we are pretending to be Krishna. We all want to be true Krishnas. So that is why we are placed in this material world, and hence we are called Bada Jivas. We are bound. So, it is said here that the two major principle Rupa Goswami notes, and as noted by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, another reasoning, major reasoning tied to the last reasoning that Lord Chaitanya came was प्रेम प्रेम रस निर्यस कोरिते अश्वदान राग मर